What if I told you that writing better songs and unlocking your creativity could be as simple as taking a walk? It sounds too easy, doesn't it? But stick with me. Some of the most groundbreaking artists, from legendary jazz musicians to best-selling authors, swear by this one simple habit. Testing it myself for 30 days, walking 10,000 steps, I can tell you that there aren't enough people talking about this amazing habit that you can start today that will dramatically impact your creativity. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why walking is so powerful, how it can impact you creatively, how you can start using it today, and why one legendary jazz artist considered walking to be his secret weapon. I think we can all agree that life moves really fast. You've got work, you've got families to take care of, you've got all kinds of things that are taking your attention or taking your time. And it can be really easy to let something like exercise become one of those things that I'm going to get to it eventually. You know, if you're anything like me, that's definitely been the case. But what if I told you that walking isn't just about fitness, it's about unlocking a whole new level of creative thinking? I decided to give this a shot when my wife Miranda sent me an Instagram reel where a doctor was talking about how walking just 8,000 steps a day can increase your life by something like 3 to 7 years or something like that. And it was enough for me to go, okay, let me give this a shot and see if I can start implementing this. Here's what the research says. Walking increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, stimulating areas responsible for problem solving and idea generation. And a Stanford study found that walking, it boosts creative output by up to 60%. Guys, that is staggering. But beyond the science, here's the real magic. Walking shifts your brain into what's called default mode, the same mental state where your best ideas tend to appear in the shower or right before falling asleep. This is when creativity flows effortlessly. I decided that I wanted to run a little experiment. I decided I was going to start walking 8,000 steps a day minimum, and I wanted to try to do this for 30 days. No intense exercise, no strict rules, just me implementing walking for 30 days straight, 8,000 steps a day. And at first, nothing crazy happened. Maybe I could feel a little bit of energy that I didn't have initially in the mornings, but there were no lightning bolts of inspiration or anything like that. But then around week 2, something shifted. I started noticing patterns in my thought processes that weren't there before. I started to notice that I could focus even more. And it didn't take long for me to crush my 8,000 steps a day. I think by day 4, I had walked 12,000 steps. 2 to 3 weeks into it, I was walking up to 14,000 to 16,000 steps a day. But the real breakthrough for me was when I noticed I sat down and I had this intense ability to focus. And I do believe that that was a result of walking, because that was the only thing that I changed. Lyrics and melodies that had been stuck suddenly had clarity. It was like walking had unlocked a bottleneck that I didn't even know was there. Here's where things get even crazier. When I was living in LA in 2008, 2009, I started working with an independent jazz label called Cryptic Gramophone Records. And one of the artists that we worked with is a legendary artist named Bennie Maupin. Bennie is famous for his work, especially in the 60s and 70s, and most famous for his appearance on Miles Davis's Bitches Brew. This guy played with the best of the best: Horace Silver, Woody Shaw, Lee Morgan, and that's just to name a few. And one day I was having a talk with Bennie when he stopped by the office, and he mentioned something really interesting to me and something that always stuck with me. He talked about these long meditative walks that he would go on that would give him musical ideas. Now, I was in my early 30s at the time, so I wasn't really thinking about how walking could affect my ability to create music or to get ideas, but I did find it really fascinating when he talked about it. He wasn't sitting down at the piano to force melody ideas out. He was going for a walk, and the melodies and the music were finding him. And of the 2 records that he released during my time at Cryptic Gramophone Records, according to Bennie, much of it was inspired on foot. And that's when it hit me that creativity is not about working harder, it's about creating the space for creativity to breathe. And walking is one of the simplest, most powerful ways to do just that. So how does this apply to you as a musician, songwriter, or creative? Think about it. How often do we sit down staring at a blank page, just hoping that an idea will come, or maybe even trying to force an idea to come that isn't there? Walking is the thing that's going to flip that script. And I can tell you this from experience. You've got to start this walking habit and take it seriously. It's awesome. So instead of grinding through writer's block, you step away and let the movement shift your perspective. Lyrics start forming in fragments and melodies emerge without effort. Dan Coe talks about this exact principle. Dan is a huge fan of walking as a form of creative inspiration, giving your mind space to wander so that ideas will start to flow effortlessly. Walking is one of the simplest ways to do just that. Full disclosure, I started this walking habit about 6 months ago. So I talk about 30 days, but I've actually been implementing it for 6 months. The exception being the last 3 weeks, I've been very sick and trying to recover from that. So I actually have not been able to get out and do this walking habit. And I've definitely noticed a change in my own mindset. And I can't wait to get out and start doing it again, because I know what a huge thing it's been for me to get out and walk and how that's really affected my mindset. I've personally written entire song ideas just from walking. It's almost as if each step shakes loose a new creative thread. So it's something I'm a huge fan of and something I'm always going to be able to do whenever. And it's something that you can do now that's so easy to start. Okay, so here's my challenge to you. I want you to do what I've done, what Dan Coe has done, what Bennie Maupin has done. And I want you to commit to walking for 8,000 steps a day for 30 days. Don't worry about doing 10,000 steps a day. The point is, you just need to start. And if 8,000 steps in a day is too much for you, start with 3,000, start with 4,000. It doesn't matter. The point is to get out and start the habit. And you'll be amazed that once you start the habit, you're going to be able to walk quite a bit more steps in a single day than just your initial starting point. Focus on getting out, moving, and just letting your thoughts breathe. And when you do, pay attention to your thoughts. What's happening with your mind as you walk? Are song ideas appearing just like they've always been there? Are melodies playing in your head like a soundtrack? Walking isn't just exercise, it's creative fuel. It's the simplest, most effective habit that you can start today to begin to break through any of those creative walls that are holding you back. So now it's time to take the first step. Literally, go for a walk. If this video resonated with you, I want to invite you to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you can keep in touch with videos that we launch on YouTube. And I truly hope that it is helpful for you. I'd love to hear what happens when you start your walking journey, and I want to hear how it's unlocking your creativity. Thanks so much for watching.